the Whisper Manor. Part 1. Reworked Opening. They say if you follow the lights near Hollow Creek after midnight, you'll never come back. It wasn't a warning. It was a promise. But on a storm-choked night in November 1997, Eleanor Cross did just that. A 23-year-old journalist obsessed with the town's darkest secrets. Eleanor had chased whispers of the abandoned Grayfield Manor for months, a place so cursed no one dared enter after sunset. That night, she left one message on her friend's answering machine, a voice trembling. "He's here, and he knows my name." No one saw her again. Police found the manor locked from the inside. No sign of Eleanor, just her tape recorder left behind on the grand staircase, still running. And what it captured would haunt this town forever. A man's voice, low, calm, welcoming. "Welcome home, Eleanor." And then silence. 27 years later, Detective Miles Carter never forgot that name, never forgot those words. And when an unsigned letter arrived on H. Detective Carter, if you want the truth about Eleanor Cross, come to Grayfield Manor. Tonight. Alone. He knew exactly what he had to do. Some stories don't stay buried. And some doors should never be opened. Part 2. The voice in the walls. The iron gates screeched open as Miles Carter pushed them with a trembling hand. The mist swallowed everything behind him. The only sound was the brittle crunch of gravel beneath his shoes. The manor loomed ahead. Windows like blind, empty eyes. A corpse of a house waiting for its next victim. Miles hesitated. His gut screamed to leave. But a voice in his head whispered, "One step closer, detective. Find her." He pushed open the front door. A gust of cold air hit him, thick with the smell of mildew, rotting wood, and something sour beneath it all. The scent of old, forgotten death. Inside, the grand foyer stretched upward into shadows. A staircase spiraled like a skeletal spine into darkness. Torn curtains fluttered at the windows. The wallpaper peeled like old flesh. And on the first step of the staircase, Eleanor's recorder. It shouldn't have been there. It had been logged into evidence 27 years ago. Miles picked it up with numb fingers. Click. The recording hissed to life. A voice. A girl's voice. Familiar. "If someone finds this, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have come here. He knows. He knows what you did, Detective Carter." Miles' stomach dropped. It wasn't possible. Eleanor never knew him. Then the voice changed. A man's voice. Smooth, rich, almost kind. "So long, detective. Time bends here, you know, and so do souls." The recorder clicked off. A soft creak echoed above him. Footsteps. Not his. Miles drew his gun, flashlight cutting a pale beam through the gloom. The recorder clicked off. A soft creak echoed above him. "So long, detective. Time bends here." It wasn't possible. Eleanor never knew him. Then the voice changed. For you. Another hour from his time. You have been with him. Who's there? His voice cracked. A second creak. Another. Upstairs. Something moved past the landing. A shadow too tall, too thin. He forced himself up the staircase, every step an effort against the weight in his chest. The hallway stretched endlessly, the wallpaper damp and sagging. Doors lined both sides. Most were half open, revealing dark, empty rooms, until one door at the end of the hall, glowing faintly. The same room Eleanor had vanished from. Miles reached for the knob. A hand grabbed his shoulder, cold, fingers thin as bone. He spun, gun raised. No one there. Only a faint, bitter voice drifting through the walls. Welcome home, detective. Part 3. Room 307. Miles Carter's pulse hammered as he reached for the brass doorknob. The air around room 307 felt heavier, colder, like stepping into water just before it pulls you under. He turned the knob. The door swung open with a groan. Inside, dust danced in the narrow beam of his flashlight. A 4-poster bed sagged in the middle of the room, its sheets yellowed and torn. An ancient vanity stood against the far wall, its mirror cracked, reflecting Miles' face in warped fragments. And then, on the vanity, a photograph. It was old, black and white, a family portrait. Miles felt his breath hitch. Standing in the center, a young man with sharp eyes and a cold smile. He recognized that face from decades of case files. Nathaniel Whitmore, the owner of Grayfield Manor before the massacre in 1964. But what made his blood run cold was the girl standing beside him. Eleanor Cross. Impossible. She hadn't been born until 1974. Yet there she was. Same eyes, same face, same necklace with the tiny silver cross. And in the corner of the photograph, scrawled in faded ink, "For eternity, my Eleanor." A voice whispered behind him, "She never left, detective." Miles spun around, flashlight slicing through the gloom. Nothing, but the room felt smaller, the shadows thicker. His phone buzzed in his pocket. No signal. Then the screen flickered to life on its own. A message appeared. Behind you. A cold hand brushed his neck. Miles whipped around. The mirror was no longer cracked. It showed 2 people in the reflection. Himself, and a tall, pale figure standing right behind him. The figure lifted a hand. On its palm, a word scratched into flesh. Run. Miles bolted from the room. Slamming the door shut, the house groaned as if in protest. From somewhere deeper inside, music began to play. A warped, ancient record. A woman's voice singing a lullaby. Hush now, baby. Don't you cry. The Whisper Man is standing by. Miles whispered to himself, "What the hell is this place?" And then a voice, right next to his ear. "It's home." Miles didn't stop running until he reached the end of the hall. His lungs burned. His mind screamed for him to leave the manor, but something stronger, that same damn voice, kept pulling him forward. A trail of fresh footprints appeared in the dust before him. Small, bare footprints, as if a child had just walked there. And then a soft laugh, a girl's laugh. Miles gritted his teeth. He followed. The trail led to a section of the wall where faded wallpaper curled away, revealing ancient wooden panels. One panel was slightly ajar, a hidden door. He hesitated, then pushed it open. The passage inside was narrow, walls pressed close, like the throat of some great beast. His flashlight caught words scratched into the wood. Dozens of names, and there, Eleanor Cross, but dated 1934. Again, impossible. Beneath it, a single word scrawled in larger, desperate letters. Trap! Miles' skin crawled. He kept moving, the passage spiraling downward, colder and colder, until he reached a heavy wooden door with rusted iron hinges. He pushed it open. A chamber lay beyond. Candles burned on every surface. Walls lined with old paintings. Portraits of the same man through the ages, always watching. Nathaniel Whitmore. And in the center of the room, an altar. Upon it, a book bound in cracked, human-looking leather. And beside it, a necklace, Eleanor's cross necklace. Miles approached, his breath frosting in the frigid air. He reached for the book. The moment his fingers brushed it, the candles guttered. A voice rose from the shadows. "I've been waiting for you, Miles." The figure stepped into the flickering light. Tall, thin, dressed in black. The man from the photograph. But he hadn't aged a day. "Nathaniel Whitmore." "Impossible," Miles whispered. Nathaniel smiled. "Time doesn't touch those who serve the house." He raised a hand and Miles' flashlight flickered. "Where's Eleanor?" Miles demanded, gun trembling in his hand. Nathaniel chuckled. "You'll see her soon enough." Everyone does. Suddenly, the walls groaned. From the darkness, dozens of pale faces appeared. Eyes hollow, skin gray, mouths stitched shut, Eleanor among them. A single tear rolled down her cheek, and then the lights went out. Part 5. The Last Whisper. Darkness swallowed Miles Carter. The air turned so thick it felt like drowning on dry land. A cold hand grabbed his wrist. He struggled, flashlight dead, gun useless. A faint glow pulsed ahead from the book. The faces in the dark began to chant, low, guttural, words in a language older than the house itself. "He comes, he comes, he comes." Miles' mind reeled. He knew, in that instant, what the Whisper Manor was. Not just a cursed house, a vessel, a trap, a devourer of souls. And he, like Eleanor, had been lured here to feed it. The figure of Nathaniel Whitmore stepped closer, his voice velvet and venom. You see now, detective. No one leaves the manor. Not truly. Time folds here. Souls linger. Miles fought to steady his breathing. Then why me? Nathaniel's grin widened. Because you're not innocent. You buried what happened to Eleanor all those years ago. You could have stopped it. But you looked away. Suddenly, memories. A young Miles Carter, a rookie cop, a terrified girl, a bribe, a threat, and silence. It was him. His own guilt had brought him back. The pale figures began to close in, but one stepped forward. Eleanor, her stitched mouth trembling, a single tear tracing her gray cheek. In her trembling hand, the silver cross. She held it out to him. Miles reached for it. The moment his fingers closed around the cross, a shock of icy light burst through the chamber. The spirits screamed. Nathaniel howled, his face contorting. No, she's mine. But Eleanor spoke, her voice ragged and broken. Not anymore. The light consumed everything. When Miles opened his eyes, dawn was breaking. He lay in the front yard of the ruined manor. The house behind him was gone. Only scorched earth remained. In his hand, the silver cross, and in the wind, a voice. Thank you. Miles Carter walked away from Grayfield, vowing never to return. But deep in the shadows of forgotten places, the Whisper Manor waits for its next visitor. If you enjoyed this terrifying tale, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more chilling stories just like this. Got a haunted place or mystery you'd like me to uncover? Drop it in the comments below. I'll be waiting in the dark. Subscribe now before the next story finds you.